Good morning. I'm not going to elaborate at all on the Myles Garrett situation. You know, he put out a statement last week, as well as the organization, very disappointing about the situation. We support Myles wholeheartedly, and we're going to accept whatever ruling that the league may bring down. We still have football games to play. We got to prepare accordingly to get ready for these games, particularly Miami next. Miami is a good football team that's been getting better each and every week. You've seen their improvements. One of the things I will say about Miami, they're one of the least penalized teams in the league. You know, so they're very disciplined. They're not going to beat themselves, and we got to make sure that we play the same. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Beyond the situation itself, the hole that Myles leaves on your defense, you know, how big of a impact is that, and how do you overcome losing a caliber player like that?
I really equate it no different than when Denzel and Greedy was out. You know, other guys have to step up. If you look at Chad Thomas, I think right now he has 3 sacks, so he's been performing well. We need more out of him, as well as Chris Smith and all the other guys. You know, Brian Cox is a guy we just picked up. He's going to have to perform and play well. So, again, you know, they're not canceling the season. We got to find a way to compensate for these losses, and we'll find a way to get it done.
How does it change your scheme? Like, would you have to blitz more because you can't, you know, your best pass rusher isn't there? And then on the flip side, do the offenses approach you differently because maybe there's not a guy that they have to double team as much as they did double Myles?
With the first question, I definitely wouldn't answer that because I don't want to put out any information to our opponent. And the second question would be, I would say yes, that they're going to adjust differently because, you know, you saw a lot of chipping with Myles when he was in there. So hopefully the other guys can eventually gain that respect. But right now, probably don't see that. But we're going to have to do some different things to be able to try to compensate for the caliber of player that Myles is, yes.
Gets healthy, I know he's still dealing with the knee injury and all, but once he gets healthy, are you hoping that he'll be able to kind of step in and mitigate some of that loss in that the hole that Myles leaves you with?
I hope so. When he was in there last couple of weeks, you saw his progression. He was playing well, making plays not only in the run game but also getting to the quarterback. So hopefully he can be able to step back in and fill that void.
When you look at you know, the fact that they had 2 players knocked out of the game with concussions, and then what happened at the end of the game, there have been charges that this was a dirty game on the part of your defense, or that it was a bounty game or something like that. Can you just address those
Well, Mary
criticisms?
Kay, I would say this right here. This is a physical football game, you know, physical game as a whole. That is not my personality, all right? That is not our personality as an organization. Things happen on the football field, very unfortunate, and I don't think anything was malicious at all with the hit with Demarius. It just so happened he caught him in the wrong place. So, again, that's nothing that we coach, nor do we condone that.
Down nature of his career. How much of a wild card is Ryan Fitzpatrick in this game?
I think he's a major wild card. This guy's a very savvy vet, extremely smart, can still beat you with his legs, does a great job really avoiding the rush, making guys miss in the pocket. And he does a tremendous job really, you know, putting the ball where it needs to be. You know, he can still throw the deep ball. So he's a proven winner. You know, when he had the opportunity to step in at Tampa Bay, you saw exactly what he did down there when Jameis was out of the game. So I got a lot of respect for him. And as I told the guys, we got to be ready to play.
Coming off of all that happened in the Thursday night game, where is your side of the ball mentally? And in the context of my question, I think to Mayfield's interview yesterday when he said, when asked, how do you think you guys will respond to all this, he sounded genuinely curious when he said, we'll find out Sunday. But what do you see in your side of the ball's attitude in
I really don't think there's going to be any surprises. I think we've moved on. I think the guys are prepared and ready for Miami. I tell you one thing, Miami's not feeling sorry for us. You know, they're coming in here trying to get a win. And as I said before, these guys are well coached, they're very disciplined, and we're going to have to play the same. So I think our guys are ready to step up and accept the challenge. Guys are out, all right, and we've been there before, as I mentioned. Guys got to step up and play.
got to you that you had to overcome and kind of gather yourself?
I think is a part of the game. I mean, things like that happen. To this extreme, with Miles being out and the way it happened, no. But things like this come up each and every week, each and every year. So we got to compensate and find ways to get over it.
Playing, what's the loss of him for one game mean?
Say that one more time, I'm
Larry
sorry.
Ogunjobi's suspension was upheld, so you won't have him Sunday. How's he been playing? What's the loss of him mean? And your
Again,
guy?
I mean, it's a blow to our defense. I mean, he's been playing well. I think right now you're talking about an inside guy. I think he has probably about 5 or 6 sacks, which is good for an inside interior lineman. So we're going to miss that presence with him. But again, other guys got to step up. Sheldon got to step up. Guys got to be ready to play. So again, we're going to try to compensate in certain areas, but guys got to perform and play well.
Lawrence to fill that void?
He does right now. Yes.
Sense for what he can do in a more
Well, again, I feel like he's going to give us body presence inside. He's going to be stout in the run game. We see exactly what we can get, from a third down type situation from a pass rush.
Chad Thomas's year, how he's grown as a player, what he needs to do under these circumstances.
I mentioned earlier about his production on the QB. I think he's doing an excellent job for us trying to get pressure and get sacks. We got to make sure that we're still stout in the run game, that he can anchor at the 6 technique. These guys have shown the ability to, pass first, run second, and we can't allow these guys to get their run game going. So I think last week they passed 55 times and only ran the ball 14. So we got to continue to do a great job of trying to stop the run when they do run the ball.
Chris Smith has been through this year, and he hasn't played a ton up to this point. Do you think he's ready physically and mentally to handle an increased workload now?
I would say yes and no. I really don't know deep down inside, because what happened is a tragedy. So spiritually, I think he's where he needs to be. He's performing well in practice, doing some good things. He's going to have plenty of opportunity this week to step up with the number of guys that we have out. So I have all the confidence in the world in him.
What do you lose with Morgan Burnett going out?
Again, that's another major blow to the defense. Morgan was playing so well, this year as a whole, but particularly in that particular game against, his former team. And again, Demarius going to have to step up. He's going to have to be the leader back there, Redwine, as well as Justin Burris. So Justin had an interception last week. He's fitting the run well. These guys got to do a great job of really communicating and making sure that we're all on the same page.
Obviously, you've used the 3 safety look a lot. With you being so thin there now, does that dissuade you from doing that as much?
We still going to have our options to be able to do certain things. Again, I'm not trying to allude to the game plan and what we're doing, but everything is up.
Brady's been back for 4 games now in a row. I mean, what have you seen from him? Has he been kind of as good as you thought he could be?
I think he's progressing and getting better each and every week. Greedy has to understand, as he does, that guys are going to come after him. If you look at the percentage of throws that went to his side last week, there was a high number there, and it's not going to change. Denzel is playing lights out since he came back against the Patriots, and it starts with how he's practicing. Denzel has just been, lights out in practice, and you can see that in the game. And Greedy understands that he's going to be challenged. Have all the confidence in the world he's going to step up to it.
A lot to you about his tackling, other coaches about his tackling. I mean, it seems like, at least from where we're sitting, he's making a lot of tackles in the run game. When guys catch the ball, he's bringing guys down. Was it a little overrated, the whole tackle thing?
Well, I don't want to say it's overrated. It is what it is once you put it on tape, and he did a lot of that in college. But, since he's been here, our deal is our corners tackle, and we knew exactly what Pittsburgh was going to try to do, and he showed it on the first play of the game where they tried to make our corners tackle, and he stepped up and made a tremendous play early on, which really set the tone. So I don't think it's going to change where teams are going to try to make our corners tackle. We just got to continue to step up and finish and make the play.
Was that a bang play? Grady and Morgan arriving at the same time as Juju. Is there anything that you could tell them to do differently than they did on that particular play?
Live speed again, Mary Kay, I think it was just a bang-bang type situation. Again, I want to make it clear it's nothing that we coach or teach. It was a very unfortunate type situation, again, that happened. split second? Could he have turned his body either way? Maybe, I don't know. But again, you know, this is a very physical game. Things like that happen at times, but believe me, it's nothing that we're trying to teach.
The bang hits and the really violent hits that happen in the course of a game. Do you think the technology and the fact that everything's in HD or whatever is bringing even more added attention to it? Because you go back and you look at some of the film from 70s, the 80s, and even the 90s. I mean, those type of things were commonplace. But now when they happen, there's outrage, and you know, people are, you know, insinuating, oh, that's a dirty play or whatever, when it's just kind of part of the game.
I would say that, number one, let me say this. I support the league and everything that they're trying to do with the safety of the players, you know. And I understand what we're trying to do. We're trying to take out the helmet-to-helmet hits. It happens at times, you know, as you just mentioned. Previous years, it happened all the time. But, you know, with concussions and the things that are happening, I think we're just trying to bring a high level of awareness to the situation, and we're really trying to take the violent hits out of the game. So I support that in every manner. But there's still going to be times when it happens, and there's nothing you can do about it when it does. So
Be more pressure on your corners without a pass rush force like Miles, and do you stress that with them, that you might have to cover longer?
I think the mindset is that we got to cover regardless of the situation. You know, we still got to complement one another, D-line as well as the back end. So, again, we got to go to the echo of the whistle. Yes, do we need more pressure? Hopefully we can still sustain and get that kind of pressure up front with certain guys. But our DBs understand they got to cover. I mean, that's a major factor as well for us, allowing the D-line to get there, you know, being tight in coverage and making the quarterback hold the ball even longer.
Runs more than you might think for a guy's age. You would know that, of course. But how have you guys done in terms of containing quarterbacks when you need to keep them from converting third downs and that sort of stuff?
Well, you know, you've seen over the course of the year a little inconsistent there, you know, from a couple of times, particularly in the red zone. And one is just athletic ability, and then others just us not executing the call. So we know that he has the ability to take off. We got to do a great job of containing this guy, but also in the same token trying to get him off his spot a little bit. So he is an older guy, all right, and I don't know if you're trying to insinuate that I'm old too, but I have seen his ability to be able to escape and avoid tackles on film. So, you know, you can't really, you know, fall asleep on a guy like that because he can still hurt you.
Was Miles hit on Mason at the end of the game? Was that a late hit?
Hey, you still persistent, aren't you?
These are all issues that going forward.
No, I don't think it was a late hit at all. I don't think it was a late hit. I think the activity that took place after that was inexcusable, you know, on both sides, if you want to ask me, in regards to that. So I thought the hit itself was within the game, and then the extracurricular activity we can't have.